Yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy burstzgyt back here, and today we are talking about Marvel's Avengers. Now, this is not any official information. This is me just having a little bit of fun trying to, theorize about what his unique skills could be coming into the game. Hopefully you guys stick around, and maybe you guys want to put down some thoughts of your own after this video of what you guys hope he could have. So, before we get into that, make sure you hit a like on that video. It does help out, and I hope you guys are going to enjoy what I have to say about Spider-Man and his potential stuff that he could get. And also, if you guys would like to join the Discord, I am trying to grow that community. We do watch parties there, and I do want to introduce some more stuff once we get more people in there. So if you want to join, link in the description. But anyways, let's get right into this. All right, so to begin, let's start talking about Spider-Man's potential intrinsic. Now, personally, I would like to see his intrinsic actually be the spider sense. I feel like a lot of people would agree with that. It makes probably the most sense. Basically, the intrinsic would be able to let you auto-evade melee and ranged attacks. Now, granted, it may not work when you have a mass amount of enemies like all surrounding you and just attacking you from every angle, but for the most part, you would be able to dodge most of the stuff. And I feel like it would go really well with OLTs and raid type places where you can auto evade the fucking attacks that you can't see in the side of your corner when the alerts come at the last second, of course, for the range stuff, like ranged blasts and all that stuff. I think it would work really well. Of course, you wouldn't be able to just dodge like stuff on the ground. You still need to move, of course. But I think that the intrinsic itself, being able to do that at base level, would be good. All right, so let's talk about the gear. Right now, I put in my notes gear plus gadgets, and the reason why I put it like that is because I think the gear could impact his actual types of webbing. So basically, you would have, let's say, a ranged piece. Of course, would be able to change from having impact webs, taser webs, spear webs, different types of webs that you can utilize with him, and it would be a lot of different pieces, of course, and this would give you so much variety in how you could utilize his skills and stuff like that, because the webbing would change based on which gear you have, as opposed to it just being the one singular regular webbing. I would like to see that a lot. If they could do that somehow, it would be very, very, very amazing. They could also in some way change this with the defense piece. If you want to make your Spider-Man a little bit more on the defense side, give him some options to be able to utilize a defense type webbing, shield webs or web wall. Being able to have those defensive options would be really cool for him, and it would be new to kind of start seeing gear really change how you can be in combat. You know what I mean? Not just small little things where it's just different types of statuses and stuff like that. This actually really could change the way of the game, in my opinion. You could start seeing more variety. Back then in the concept art from ArtStation that got deleted a long time ago, they did have mock-ups that showed gear that actually changed the way you have combat. Like Captain America had I would say, slingshot type of attack where if he hit an enemy, they would immediately slingshot themselves into another group of enemies, and they would automatically cause damage or stun them or whatever. And he could also hack enemies and make them his own allies, I guess. So different stuff like that. They don't necessarily do that. There was also one that I don't have the picture to, but Iron Man could summon in drones. I don't know why they didn't do it, but I would like to see that stuff return. And you might have just heard my notepad fall. I'm sorry. But yeah, so that's something that actually would be really, really cool. I don't see gear changing the heroics anytime. I think that's something reserved for if they ever do a skill tree update for heroes, which wouldn't happen for Spider-Man because A, he's exclusive, B, they're probably going to make him pretty good anyway. So with that, let's move on to the heroics itself. Now, granted, I didn't go into super heavy detail regarding this is going to be able to change into 3 different ways like how you would in the skill tree. There's just the base level of what it would be, and you can kind of imagine what would change if you had those options to be able to change it. So first, support. It would be web rain, and it shoots webs from above, stunning basic enemies and staggering bosses. And you would apply taunt to yourself, so you can take enemies to you, away from your teammates. And I think this would offer a lot of viability for Spider-Man being more of a stun-based character, so he can kind of stop the fight, allow you to get in damage, and kind of fight that way. You know, Kate has a little bit of that if you really utilize her that way with her smoke arrow. Like, she has the whole little smoke arrow she does if you hold square. I don't know what the button is for Xbox or PC, but she can do that and kind of over time gather stun for enemies and get, you know, takedowns and whatnot. But Spider-Man on this level, he could be a very, very, very heavy stun-based character. Being able to get that status, the stun damage off very, very fast, and being able to have all those takedowns available for teammates and whatnot, it would be very, very, very cool. So moving on, the assault. Now I wanted to tie this into the support because you can kind of utilize it this way. So the assault would basically be a web fist pound, or if you had the options available, you could kind of change it into like a web mace or a web spear, web scythe, whatever, and be able to utilize different ways that those attacks could work. And you could follow that up from the support attack, right? I like to see things being able to connect with each other, so you can kind of bounce different attacks off with each other and form those good combos and time those out with your teammates. I think would be very cool to see. The heroic, this one is a little bit off the deep end, but basically he creates a big web mine, which is essentially a big ball full of electric bombs. Let's call them electric bombs, electric mines. And upon the ball, this giant ball hitting the ground and it creating impact, it explodes. So if an enemy is not dead, they will take shock damage, and they will also be put into either the stun status, or they will be halfway there or whatever, depending on what enemy it is, because, you know, some enemies may take a lot longer. So that's pretty much that. Of course, if there are other ways you want to formulate this in your head and think of what else could change, let me know down in the comments. I would like to hear different thoughts. While we're in this state of just kind of waiting for Spider-Man, we're just kind of making up what we can, right? Having fun with it. I'm excited for what they do. They tend to do really well with their characters. I'm not really worried about his traversal as much. I don't really find that that's going to be anything too super spectacular, for the simple reason this isn't a Spider-Man game. I don't expect them to be like Insomniac levels of Spider-Man swinging, because the environments aren't built for Spider-Man necessarily. They're not. You can't go into the fucking desert and swing on air, right? But again, they could do that. I don't mind if they did that to where he just can swing like TASM did in the first game. I wouldn't mind that at all, because it's a video game, and if I want to swing realistically, I'll go play TASM 2, Spider-Man 3, Spider-Man 2, or Insomniac Spider-Man or Miles Morales. I have those games if that's what I want to do. This game doesn't have to be hyper realistic, so I'm perfectly fine with that. Or if they just do something as simple as web zip and glide with the web parachute or web wings, I'm perfectly fine with that too. But yeah, that's enough for me. If you guys have thoughts on what his skills, you know, abilities, intrinsic gear types could be, definitely put that in the description. Definitely put that in the comments, or you can tweet it at me, make a video at me. I would like to see different people's ideas. We probably have maybe like another month and a half, maybe 2, until Spider-Man comes out. Hopefully it's early November. That's what we're all hoping for, right? Early November. That would be great. Early November would be very, very fucking great. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Definitely let me know. Again, hit those comments up. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully that marketplace video wasn't too crazy for you, but you know, we all have our thoughts and we all need to express ourselves. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.